Good afternoon. My name is Chandra Williams Davis. I am presenting my informal assessment information on Caden Brown, my target student from Henderson Middle School at Little Rock School District in Little Rock, Arkansas. Caden is a sixth grade student who is also a student in my co-taught English class. Caden receives resource math instruction, math intervention, which comes in the form of Math 180, and reading intervention due to his dyslexia diagnosis. His handicapping condition, which makes him eligible for special education services under IDEA, are bipolar disorder, ADHD, as well as dyslexia. Our school-wide focus is in preparation for the ACT Aspire, and the English department has chosen to focus on one writing standard and one reading standard, and pre-test and post-test. Based on pre-test data, Caden seemed to struggle with identifying and creating compound sentences. So I gave him an informal assessment on making compound sentences. What I did, I started out with a set of sentences and gave him the three conjunctions, and, but, or, and a comma. When he took the assessment, these sentence strips were cut out, as well as the comma and the conjunctions, and he was allowed to make and arrange sentences as he chose. And he was allowed to make as many as he could and then choose 6 to write. So what he did was he arranged them. The sentences that he was given were: Timmy loves to play basketball. Timmy's father doesn't have a basketball. John loves to watch the movie Transformers. John loves to eat popcorn. Jan went to the carnival. She had a great time. She rode on all the rides. She wanted to ride the roller coaster. Jan played arcade games. She didn't want to stay long. The object of this assessment was to see if he could not only combine the sentences, use the conjunctions properly, but make sure that when he wrote them, he would use the correct capitalization and punctuation at the end, as well as a comma. It took a minute for him to get settled. He was very willing to cooperate, but because he is such an active child and has a diagnosis of ADHD, it took a minute for him to settle down and get to it. But once he settled down, he was able to take the sentence strips. He was able to read them on his own, read them aloud, put them together. He made a few stumbles with conjunctions, and I had him read them out loud. And I always tell my students, read a little, write a little, read a little, write a little. Make sure what you're writing makes sense when you read it out loud. Does it sound correctly? So he was able to do that when he put them together. Writing them, we talked about the conjunctions, and I made him go back and check for punctuation. And he did well. And so next we are going to, from that point, we are going to talk about the fanboy conjunctions, the other beyond, and, but, and or, and knowing the difference between those conjunctions and the subordinate conjunctions. Also, in my assessment packet that I've written report, we've also done a activity with a computer-based game that we made on the Sweet Smart Tech website, where he had to separate subordinate and coordinating conjunctions. And he thoroughly enjoyed that because it was a video game with sound effects. When working one-on-one with Caden, once you calm him down, he works very well. He does not work well in a larger classroom with large number of students because of his ADHD. He wants to see what other people are doing. He's looking around. He may comment. One-on-one assessments and small group instruction works very well for him. And I will be making that suggestion and recommendation to transfer him from co-taught English to resource English in the fall, as we are now beginning to work on schedules for the spring. Thank you for your time and attention. Have a good evening.